And from the position of the total recall, I was able to see how everybody contributed to a focal point, which is now. And everybody that contributed um, gave up and sacrificed in order for us to overcome this great evil. And little did I know that's what it was all about. And so my next course of business is to make the sacred union. Now I got to figure that conundrum out. And I don't know how that's going to fare. But I ain't going to back down. I'm going to find a solution. Path of least resistance, according to the laws of electricity, as we learned from Tesla. The path of least resistance allows a current to flow at the most optimum rate of performance. So in order for it to be the most successful, you have to find the path of least resistance. Find out what worked. All right. So from there, I'm gonna put this on the back burner. I'm gonna go back to the lab. But if this is what I think this is telling me, then I'm gonna restate something that I stated before, that I should be having these CEOs march down here to make these workers whole. There's no way laborers, the lifeblood of every society, should be um, deceived out of their wages. You know, people deserve opportunities to save money and put up a nest egg for retirement. Nobody should have to work endlessly their entire life. Shouldn't have to do it. Um, you should only work as long as you feel that you want to work after a certain point, because part of us being human, it is prescribed for us labor. Labor is to develop character. So we don't run from labor. We embrace it as part of the human experience. But in doing so, we can't tolerate the greed of the old regime and the selfish hoarding of the wealth from the people. And the only way to correct that error, right here from Orient, I'm going to tell y'all, is for somebody to figure out the conundrum, to dig down to the depths, find all of the lost jewels and bring them back to the surface so we can start living like humans again and building families again and loving each other again without all of the pain and the suffering and the misery. A lot of people gave a lot of sacrifices and self-sacrifice. It's the highest form of sacrifice. Self-sacrifice. Sacrificing your core self in order to accomplish an ultimate goal. That is a great sacrifice. When you have an enemy that devoured the children, and you have to know how to use that to trap the enemy. Because if you don't use it to trap him, he's going to continue eternally to devour the children. So if we're going to free the children, we got to free the mothers so that they can protect the children. If we're going to free the mothers to protect the children, we have to liberate the fathers mentally, physically, emotionally, in order to provide the things needed for the mother to do her function as a mother. Funny thing about that is, everybody not a mother, but everybody that's capable of opening the portal of life think because they can do that, that make them a mother. But that in and of itself is not enough. You have to care more about the child than you care about yourself. Then the sacrifice of the child for the redemption of the child becomes part of the release mechanism in order to give that child even the opportunity to survive under the oppression of a beast that thought that everybody was only made to be workers, servants. And so we don't want to be a human race of slaves and a human race of servants to a few greedy wealth hoarders in secluded corners of the world that cares nothing about the people, care nothing about um, um, how they live, their suffering and their pain. Somebody has to care about the suffering and the pain. When you have workers that only want to go to work, they don't want um, to go to work and worry about the politics. There's a way to eliminate that. They don't want to go to work to deal with all of the dog eat dog, crab in the bucket scenarios pulling each other down because they're coming there to earn substance. They burn their labor to provide substance for their children and their families. They have single mothers and they have single fathers working in these places. And the system is designed to make them fail as a parent because the work scenario is not conducive to us being good parents all the time. So we have to figure out ways around these things. And so we have to turn work from a laborious and dreaded task into an acceptable and understandable part of life. And the people who is behind the work machine, these people have to start to learn that because they are in a superior position doesn't make them a superior person. In this struggle, there is no big I's and little U's. We are humans. We all in the same boat. And we all suffering from the same oppression from the same oppressor. They turn our children against us. They turn the parent against the child, and they turn um, the husband against the wife, and they broke up the family. When the family is broke up, people are in a continuous state of confusion. It's like when a mind breaks in psychology and the doctors give you medications. Um, these doctors, thank you, Cashian, these doctors give you medications to patch up the breaks in the mind. But who patches up the breaks in the family? Who patches up when the single mother only wants to take care of her child and only wants to be a good mother and a good sister and a good daughter and a good wife? Who is to speak for her when she's in this condition? Somebody has to speak for her. I've seen it. And I know when she was nailed to the cross. I'm here to liberate it. And so we fail to realize that it all converges at a central point, at a point where all of these things that we see have to mean something, or the life becomes meaningless. And if you find yourself in what feels like a meaningless life, you will find yourself in a perpetual state of misery. And that's not heaven, that's hell. So there's things we can do as humans. As humans, we can take the brakes off of our children's minds so they can advance. We can take the shackles off of the mothers and we can release the hands of the fathers so they can join together and build families again. But we can't do it under these conditions. We can't do it when the worker, the lifeblood of every society on this planet, is treated like less than human. Because they laborers, that doesn't make them less. They can all shine. They can shine doing what they do. They don't have to be the celebrity. If they're a good worker and they do a good job, that should be respected. And that should be honored. And anybody not honoring and respecting that, they are in the way of the betterment of the whole of humanity. And as we look around we see the signs and the times, but many of us are naive and we neglect to see what's before our very eyes. Somebody had to clean this mess up, so somebody had to be sacrificed. So there's two sacrifices. There's the sacrifice of the struggle of reclaiming your right as a man. And then there's also the sacrifice of the woman reclaiming her right as a woman. So we want to get back into our power. And this is where our power stems from. At the very core, love is the emotive energy of creation. And wisdom is the organizing energy of creation. And the wisdom without the love is meaningless, as the love without the wisdom is useless. But when you put the two together, that's a sacred union. And we make our lives and our struggles based off of what is dictated from people who has no concern for our wealth and our well-being, our health, our families, or our family structures. They've stolen from us. I'm here to reclaim it. They put before us a challenge. I met the challenge. They told us that it was an unbreakable seal, and I broke it. And they told us that we would forever be enslaved to their system if nobody broke it. So all of the people on this planet that have a love for humanity sacrificed over a prolonged period of time, passing a key from one hand to another, that it reach a final destination where they all line up. And they line up so perfect, all 7 keys, where the alchemy has transformed this beast into something greater than himself. Somebody that can see deeper into the situation than what's on the surface. And somebody that has to have enough compassion for the people and enough disdain for the enemy to use both of them as fuel to find a solution. But none of that in the end will work if there's no love in the equation. And so there's a lot of people who don't understand love. But that's okay. Hey, sis, we all in this together. The black ones, the white ones, the Asian ones, the Hispanic ones, the Australians, the Islanders. We all sacrificed to get rid of this evil, this unstoppable evil force that nobody thought could ever be stopped with his codes. Because nobody ever thought that a man on this planet will ever love a woman enough to raise himself up to be worthy to be accepted by her. And they thought that no woman would love a man enough for the self-sacrifice in order to be the best woman she can be for her family. And we both made the struggle. It's been a long time in the making. When the enemy put out 1,000 points of light to disrupt our unity as humans and our pattern of living our best lives as we were prescribed from the very beginning, when this liar, when this fork-tongued beast came in, deceiving all he could devour, they thought that we as a humanity would lose our humanity in the deception to such a degree we would never recover from it, and that we would never be able to love each other as one human family again because of what they did in Babylon with divide and conquer. The goal was to pillage us and to use us for servants for eternity. They planned, and we had a plan. And the plan they had was to continuously to deceive you. But the plan we had was to continuously struggle until we are liberated. To continuously come together behind the scenes, in the sacred halls and the secret lodges, in the organizations and the foundations, and to pass the knowledge on piece by piece, to build this wall, to build this temple, brick by brick. This temple of man where the one who would be the one would have to put all the pieces together so we didn't have to continuously be in servitude. And the final death blow is to attain the wisdom of the ages to crack the code. So in Asia, they sent us Sun Wukong and his emotive energy and his undefeatable disposition. Sun Wukong never loses. Sun Wukong then became a Gemini in India as the counterpart to Lord Ram. But this is all archetypes. Ram is Hanuman. Hanuman is Ram after he has tamed his Sako Mao, his monkey bind. He has to take the journey to the west at the behest of the Buddha. In the journey to the west, he's supposed to discover this great wisdom. The Africans sent us Loas, and the Egyptians, they sent us ancient Netter, spirit forces. The Greeks sent us Titans and energy work. When you learn how to program reality, then you can unprogram or rewrite it. You can take the defects out of the system. And now it's up to us as a humanity to find a way to work together, understand where we came from in order to get where we are, to not accept the oppressive regime because the oppressive regime is gone. I've destroyed the beast once and for all by attaining the wisdom of the ages, fueled by eternal love. This is an unparalleled match. It's indestructible. It's walking through the flames, not being touched by the fire. It's something so magnificent in scope, unbelievable in perception, but so definite in its reality. We learn from the wisdom of the ages the structure of the universe, the foundations. We know that the cross-section of the fabric of creation is the mental and the physical unity. It is the joining together of the two. And so, when I tell y'all that on the day of the masters, on Judgment Day, when I was put before the masters of the high councils of heaven and challenged to unravel this riddle and identify by showing my work. So you got to show your work. And when you show your work, it's different than when you just say it. It's indisputable. So we wonder, can we prove it? Can you unravel the riddle? Can you assimilate the wisdom of the ages? Because as all Moors know, sometimes we got to go around our elbow to get to our thumb. And this be the book no man could read. but the chosen one. Not only did I have to read it, I had to build it